go to the Insider Hotline and say hello to our buddy, Frank Seravalli. Whoa. What are we? This new backdrop? We got some neon going. What's going on, Frankie boy? Look at this.
Yeah. But trying to figure out how to, fix the flickering here. But I think it's a frame rate issue. I'm not a tech savvy guy, but I'm trying.
Yeah, there's I know exactly what you're talking about. There's frame rate, there's some other stuff in there. I forget what it's all called, but you'll figure it out, I'm sure. It looks good though.
Thanks. How was your Christmas, buddy?
It was good. Yeah, didn't do a whole lot, so that's right up my alley, as you know. Kept it pretty close. Kids were happy and there was lots of food and booze, so
sounds like a win.
It's a win. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, it was good. It was quiet. Similar. We hosted on Christmas Eve. That went well. Christmas Day uneventful. So yeah, it was good and nice to just relax for a little bit.
Last we talked, you had to go out and do some serious appetizer buying. There was some.
I think people were pleased.
Yeah.
The cheesesteak and buffalo chicken egg rolls, they were a hit.
Right. Yeah.
The cocktail franks were delicious.
Yeah.
I think I did all right.
What are they called? Is that pigs in a blanket? Is that what they call that?
Pigs in a blanket,
yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. Now, this serious question, I think I know the answer, but because you're kind of in that, you're right in the belly of the beast when it comes to cheesesteaks and that. Would you ever even entertain doing it yourself? Or is that just kind of one of those things?
So I do like making a cheesesteak by myself occasionally. But it's just more trouble than it's worth. Like by the time you buy the ingredients and then do it and the mess involved, like you didn't save any money. You didn't save any time, obviously, and you can't really do it as well. What's great about being here is just the variety of cheesesteaks. And I know that sounds wild to say. You're like, come on, man, a cheesesteak is a cheesesteak. But here's the thing. It depends on a million factors. You've got different rolls. Do you go seeded or non?
Right.
You've got different styles of meat. Like, do you go patties or is it chopped up? You've got different cheeses. Like the place I took you to.
Yeah.
They have the liquid American that's melted and it just like it's in a vat and you just kind of like ladle it on. Or do you go with like Cooper Sharp cheese, or can you go to a place that has melted Cooper Sharp? I mean, look, I could talk about this forever, and this is partially why I'm so fat. But it's like there's variety in it, and if you go to a different place, you're getting a different steak, and it's the spice of life.
Yeah, because I've never even bothered because I just feel like for starters, you need the roll, like you say. If you're gonna go ahead, get your prime rib and do it however you want. You dice it and put whatever else and whatever cheese. If the bun stinks, then the sandwich stinks.
I found this other place just recently. I had it a few weeks ago. They have a pretzel roll.
Gotcha.
And it's like the little salt that you get on the pretzel roll. Oh, it's like it's taking it next level.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I'm a little bit partial to that right now.
Really? Well, it's start of a new year, right? It's maybe you're changing. It's gonna be a big year for Frankie boy.
The pretzel roll is hard to compete with.
It is. Yeah, it is. Damn.
You guys don't really have soft pretzels, do you?
You know what? We do, but it's not super. Warner will talk about Wetzel's pretzels. You got to go get pretzels. It's, you know what it is? It's an underrated thing for sure.
But like, do you guys have like a soft pretzel store that is making them fresh, and you can like roll in there and get 6 hot pretzels?
Yeah,
for like $2.
But they're not. I mean, it's kind of rare. They're not everywhere, but you can find them. They'll be in the mall or whatever. You got to go.
Yeah, like Annie Ann's doesn't count. Come on.
Wow. So in that respect, do we have any mom and pop pretzels? I don't know that we necessarily.
That's like every street corner here. You can find that. That's
that and the water ice.
Yep.
Delicious. I guess we could talk about hockey. I don't know.
I guess. It is the holidays.
Yeah, I know it is. What'd you make of the timing of the firing of Derek Lalonde by Stevie Y? Was that Boxing Day?
Yeah, new definition for Boxing Day, as in you can come in and box up your office center.
Yeah, pack your shit and get out.
Tough one. I don't know if that makes Steve Yzerman look like a good guy, bad guy. At the end of the day, to me, it's all human shield. And no offense to anyone involved there, but that roster is just not good enough to compete. And so I don't care if Scotty Bowman returned and was head coach in his prime. I don't think you're getting much more out of this group than what they've currently got. When you enter a season in which 20-year-old, 21-year-old Simon Edvinsson is your second best defenseman, I really like what we're seeing from him and where he's heading, but that's not the makings of a contending team to, get in the playoffs and do some damage. When they had an opportunity last summer to do things a little bit differently, finding cap space to sign Vladimir Tarasenko to a 2-year deal, that's not what that team needed. And so you can work your way through all of the different personnel changes, going to get Patrick Kane again, fine.
Yeah.
But that's not what's putting that team over the top. It comes back to defense. And when you have Sherratt and Petrie and Hall and Wallman and all these guys that have been through a revolving door, Gostisbehere was through there at one point. It's not working. And it comes down to player evaluation from the management team that stands out to me.
Yeah. I like Todd McClellan. I think he's a good coach. And I don't know. I mean, for Derek Lalonde, it was his first time as an NHL head coach. I don't know if he's a guy that's going to be sought after again now as a head guy, but
he's probably a really good assistant.
Yeah, he does kind of have that feel. He obviously did a lot of winning with Cooper in Tampa Bay, but I don't know. It almost felt like you say. So we're if not deck chairs, then did it have to happen on Boxing Day? Could it have happened 2 weeks ago? Could it happen 2 weeks from now? I don't know. It was
one of those ones you could see coming from a million miles away. Like at some point, Derek Lalonde was getting gonged, whether it was now or at the end of the season or in late October. Like it was happening.
Yeah. Maybe we look back in a couple years and the luster comes back for Stevie Y, but it sure seems like it's
What'd you make of his press conference?
Yeah,
did you see the clip? Like it seemed like a guy that was cracking under the weight of, hey, everyone's telling you that you're bleeping this up.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is too, I think he's so used to between as a player and as an executive till now, guy could do no wrong. He's a winner. He's got
perfect,
Olympics, World Cups, Stanley Cup championships, the whole thing goes to Tampa Bay. Things are great. Goes to Detroit. Well, you're back in Detroit. We love you here. I don't think he's used to being criticized at any level for any amount of time. So it's new for him. And I didn't think not that it's not terrible, but it wasn't a great look for a guy who I think is generally a well-liked guy.
By who, I guess, would be the question.
Yeah.
But even Wings fans, like at some point it's fair to ask the question, is Julian Brisebois the guy that was behind everything that they did well there? Was Al Murray their director of scouting? Was he the guy for the success in Tampa? Not to say Steve Yzerman as the guy with his hands on the controls didn't have a part or say in it, but he came out of that thinking this is the best general manager. Everyone's thinking this is the best general manager currently in the league, and Detroit just got him. This is going to change everything for them. It's obviously not the case.
Yeah.
The shine has worn off.
Other stuff, because again, I was saying before you came, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what's happened. You kind of, Flames are playing today. And you just kind of get lost in the holidays. Somewhere along the line, I think it was going back to Friday, the Colorado Avalanche, they extend Mackenzie Blackwood. 5 years, $26.25 million. He's been good since he got dealt there. He's gone 4-1 with a 1.82 and a 940 save percentage. That's a quick little romance before popping the question, isn't it? 4 games. I was reading we wanted him to get to Denver and kind of get the lay of the land, and then we thought we'd get into contract talks, and boom, it's done. Maybe when you know, but it seems pretty quick between. I didn't even know they had landed on him.
They boinked on the first date,
right? So, I guess he's the number one. I guess he's the guy. I didn't even know they'd kind of picked a number one yet, but there you go.
Someone help me understand this contract. Like, if you want to sign Mackenzie Blackwood to an extension, I mean, by all means, knock your socks off. 5 years?
5 years.
He got that contract term and dollar figure is like quite literally the kiss of death for all NHL goalies. Tristan Jarry, disaster in Pittsburgh. Jack Campbell, horrific in Edmonton. And then you go out and you give him basically the same deal 4 games in for a guy that's never played. You and I have played in the same number of Stanley Cup playoff games as Mackenzie Blackwood. How is that possible? How have you anointed this guy as the savior for what your team needs in net? I'm not saying he can't be good, not by any stretch of the imagination. But when you look at his track record, we've seen way more bad than good to think that this is a guy you have to sign right now to a long-term deal.
It's another one of the. Sorry, Frank. It's another one of those things. If he plays the remainder of the season, or you go another month or two, but let's just say you go the rest of the year, how much more than 26.25 over 5 are you going to have to pay the guy if he's dynamite?
Not at all.
I don't know how much. What's the price increase? It just.
Unless
I hope it works out for them.
Finish this year out for the rest of the year at 940. Then you're going, okay, but even then on the best case scenario, it's not going to be much more expensive than it was right now.
Yeah. I don't see him suddenly being a $7 or a $9 million per season goaltender. I don't know. But if there's a team that has to appreciate what goaltending is, or what it's like to have a good team with bad goaltending, it would be the Colorado Avalanche.
Do you know, prior to this season, his last 3 years, 91 games played, 85 starts, 896 save percentage.
I know. And I guess some of that's the team, right? He's not.
I guess, but yeah, someone is going to have to help me with that contract.
It's great. It's great work for him. It's great work for the agent. It's great work for him.
Can you imagine so I'm just trying to think this one out. So Chris McFarland calls, obviously it's around the holidays. He's feeling pretty generous. Team's gotten back on track. And you get the call if you're Blackwood's agents and they say, wait, we're going to have to check on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you put the phone down and like put it on mute and start screaming like, yeah, like how does that work? Or do you have to bluff a little bit? Like, you know what? We're going to have to turn that first offer down. What do you like? I don't even know what you do.
Yeah. Is there a negotiation, or do you just look for a pen? It's probably one of those things. I think maybe he's been in the eggnog now. If he is hammered, and we sign, is there any recourse? Is he going to be able to say, oh, no, I was drunk, I take it back? I don't know how. It's a great deal.
Again, even if you wanted to sign him to a 2-year deal at the same AAV, fine, by all means. I could see that. Yeah. You know what? But 2 years is so much different than 5.
5's a long time. Yeah. 5 is a ton.
There's going to be some hard years, I'm telling you, on that deal.
It feels like it, but you know what? I hope it works out.
It'd be a great story. And he's obviously a talented kid. Like, no one's denying that. And the injuries that he had in New Jersey that was really tough. Like, I don't know if I told you the story or our loyal barn burner listeners, but his heel injury in New Jersey was so bad that they quite literally had to cut out the piece of the back of his skate so that his heel could hang out.
Really?
Yeah, it was horrible. So I'm hoping that he just got right and is back on track. But man, this is a guy that did not handle pressure well in New Jersey as well. There was no pressure in San Jose.
Yeah.
Obviously 4 games, great. But give him a playoff run first. So let him get a taste of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah. I read the McFarland. We wanted him to get back to Denver and just kind of get the lay of the land for what, about a couple days? I mean, it was
to see if the mountains were blue. Like, what are we looking at here?
Yeah. Flames have got Vancouver coming up. No Pettersson and no Quinn Hughes. Again, I'm playing catch up. I know that Hughes was wearing the bubble, but he missed their last game. It came out yesterday and said week to week. That is as much as went right for last year for Talk and the Canucks. It feels like, boy, it's a challenge this year. He's got JT Miller and Pettersson, and are they fighting? And the goalie's back, but he's not. And now Quinn Hughes is out. This is a real dogfight for Talk this year.
And let's put all that aside for a second, like the fighting and whatever else, the drama, because I mean, color everyone's shocked that the Vancouver market is eating itself again.
Right.
But go on dailyfaceoff.com and pull up the Vancouver Canucks defense pairings for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. because Hronek's already out.
Tyler Myers, Carson Soucy, Noah Juleson, Eric Brandstrom, Vinny Desharnais. That's your 6. That is 4 replacement level players and 2 NHLers. That's, if you're asking me what's my level of concern for the Canucks over the next few weeks, for a thin defense core to take out Quinn Hughes, all-world defenseman this year, in the conversation for the Hart, and then already without Filip Hronek.
Yeah.
That's some tough sledding for Rick Tocchet. And to me, for the most aggressive front office in the league, I'll be very surprised if we get through the next number of days and the Canucks don't have something going.
I was going to ask you, because it does. They're a good team. They're right in the mix. They're in a wild card spot, but can't afford to just toss away a couple of
not
weeks,
a couple weeks,
right? No. You can't do it. So I don't know what's out there. Every team would love to go and add some depth to their defense, guys that would still be impactful once you get healthy with Hronek and Quinn Hughes when they come back. But I don't know.
How do you look at this Canucks team? On paper, they're 17, 10, and 8. But if you flip that around, they have more losses than wins.
I know.
Do you look at them glass half full with all that they've dealt with? They didn't have Demko for a long time to start. They haven't had a fully healthy roster that they assembled in the summer for any one game this season, and likely won't for a while. And then you mention all the other stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, and then out in front of it. What do you give them full marks, or do you say that this is a team that's just hanging on by a thread?
For me, it would be the latter, but I'm also guilty of not seeing last year coming. And okay, you can bring in Rick Tocchet, and everybody likes Tocchet, and he demands accountability and all that sort of thing. And then they were a very good team last year. They were very tough to beat. Obviously got to the playoffs when we saw what happened there. I still think some of that applies, but you've also had Brock Besser. There's too many. It's just like there's banana peels everywhere. I think they're going to have a really tough time hanging in there. They have.
Who's going to beat?
I was going to say somebody's going to have to come and take their chair,
and I don't know who it is.
But I don't know who it is either.
It's not going to be the Kraken. It could be the Flames. The Flames are the only team. I mean, I think Utah is making it. So
is that right? So what about Utah gives you just coming of
that
age?
Team's way better than anyone gives them credit for. They've got legitimate stars up front, and they're getting closer to getting they have got 3 of their top 6 defensemen out.
Yeah.
They're going to be back in February. I think Utah is going to have 2 months to make up ground, and they're not really far out of it as it is, and entered pre-holidays in a playoff position by points percentage.
Yeah. I don't know. We watch the Flames very closely. I just think they are what they are. I don't see extended winning streaks, but I think they're probably committed enough to not go on some crooked number losing streaks.
Probably isn't also going to be a big teardown.
Could be, yeah. And that's the other thing too, is what does Utah want to do? Do they want to make the playoffs right now because they're a first-year team, or does it serve them better to maybe sell off some pieces?
They have to. They have to. No, they're not going to be selling off pieces. They're going to be adding.
Yeah,
Utah. They're going to have to sell off prospects because they can't sign them all. So Utah's in a great spot. Like if you were talking about starting, like if you had to pick one of the non-playoff teams and pick which team you think you can grow with the next 3, 4, 5 years and turn them into a contender, I don't think there's another team in the league that I'm picking outside of Utah. Cap space, legit stars up front, good defensemen. And by the way, they've done all this year in a year in which Connor Ingram's been terrible.
Yeah.
This guy that was supposed to be their bona fide number 1 starter for the future has been in the 870s.
Out your way, the Rangers have Florida tonight. They're in Florida. They've lost 3 in a row, 1 regulation win in their last 7.
We're going to make it through an entire hit without it.
No, well, because all I was saying is they got to get to Christmas, and they got to Christmas.
I know. I said, man, break couldn't have come at a better time for the Rangers. Here they go. They're going to turn it around and reset. And oh my God,
Lost again.
Folded like a cheap tent in a soft wind.
4-14 since November 21st, and they've made trades. They've done. Is Laviolette the next domino that falls just because, or
just because I think that lets the players off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
This team quit. I think Larry Brooks in the New York Post said it best. They've quit on themselves. They've quit on the organization. They've quit on the coach. They've quit on the GM. They've quit on the city.
Jeez.
I mean, it's the truth. When you lose in as lifeless fashion as you have consistently, look, every team has a bad 2-week stretch. When it turns into 6 weeks and it started out with you were day to day with hurt feelings, this is the NHL. Like you've got to show up to work, and they don't even try.
And I mean, they can lots of runway left. But as we sit today,
they're only
behind
6 points back of the Penguins with 3 games in hand. Like they could easily still be in.
But they're behind the Habs in this. They're behind the Islanders and the Blue Jackets. It's
a disgrace is what it is.
This
team is way too talented, which is why, look, do I think Peter Laviolette's done them any favors this year? Absolutely not. There's been head-scratching decisions. It doesn't look like he's a ball of fire behind the bench, which then I think raises an interesting Todd McClellan question when you kind of continue to bring in these coaches that just go from like changing out one sweatsuit for morning skate for another. To me, it's a really interesting case study on at what point, are these coaches where the messaging doesn't change, same guy, same thing year in and year out. Does that help you or hurt you? But to me, doing that, making the coaching change, or even making a big trade right now is bailing this team out that should probably have to wallow in it for a bit because they're way too talented. What happened to Mika Zibanejad?
I know.
How he forgot how to play hockey?
Yeah. President's Trophy winners a year ago.
He's signed through 2029 with a full no move. You can't even put him on. You can't even give him the Chris Drury special and put him on waivers. He's got the no move.
I dig him. I think he's a hell of a hockey player still. But
how? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then and you also just signed your goalie to a contract that hasn't kicked in yet, and he's been no good. I don't know what they do.
And Drury's above. I mean, he's in Dolan's pocket. There's no. Obviously, the coach is going to go before the GM, but is Drury free and clear of criticism in the ownership's eyes?
I think everyone's wearing it. He's not free of criticism here. This death spiral started the day that he sent out the memo.
Yeah.
November 24th, if you back it up a couple games, they lost those 2. I think they lost in Edmonton, and then it was the week of U.S. Thanksgiving. He sent that memo out at 10:43 in the morning on Sunday, the 24th.
Yeah.
And it's been no good since then, but
it's too bad.
Probably it's a lesson on a million levels, not a way to handle it. But at the same time, the players are paid to play, and it's not all about, feeling respected or whatever, having a seat at the table. I know that's a different conversation, a longer conversation for another day, but man, it's on them more than anyone else.
Are you a New Year's Eve party kind of guy or no? No,
I at one point in my life was a New Year's Day party guy.
Gotcha.
We have this parade here. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's called the Mummers Parade.
The Mummers Parade. So if you've seen Jason Kelsey wearing the thing, that's the Mummers deal.
It's Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best. Like, my wife isn't watching, so I can say this. This is one of the best days of my life.
Okay.
Yeah. I got some stories from that day, buddy.
Is that right?
One day I dressed up in costume with the face paint and everything. You start out the day, 6 a.m. The sun is just crackling across the sky.
Yeah.
It's usually cold, New Year's. And you have an 8-piece band that's part of your group, your outfit as you march. And they start out the day, they give you a flask of OJ and vodka, and you have a satchel. I know that sounds weird. Not a purse, not a man purse.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But it's they give you a 6-pack of beer. And whenever you finish your 6-pack of beer as you're walking and, hanging out, dancing, doing whatever it is, and the band's playing and you're just cruising, you just walk up to the front of your group and there's a U-Haul truck that has hundreds of cases of beer and they refill your satchel. Next thing you know, you turn around and you drank a 24-pack yourself and you're still going. And the flask is empty and it's only lunchtime.
So you won't be doing that this year, or you wish you were, or how does it?
No, I wish I was. I'm just not built like that anymore.
Oh, for one day, we're all built like that, buddy.
And the best part is there's no bathrooms around. So as you're going, you're just stopping and taking a whiz on someone's front steps. It is, I'm telling you, and they love it. It's the best day ever. Best day ever.
It's very romantic. Nice.
Seriously, six pack and a flask done before 7. You're on your way, buddy.
That's good work. If you can get it, that's good work for sure. And now there's an outdoor game on New Year's Day, I think.
No, it's New Year's Eve.
Is it New Year's Eve?
Yeah, that was a big reason why the tradition stopped for me. I always had to work.
Right.
So
see, now
it's New Year's Eve at Wrigley. Like I guess I could have kind of made it home in time.
I'm happy for everybody. I'm happy for everyone in Chicago. They get an outdoor game. Everybody likes to piss on the outdoor games. It's not. Look, it's for the people in that town. If they want to go and enjoy it, they can enjoy it.
Matchup this year. I mean, I don't think anyone was dying to see Blues Blackhawks.
No.
But 2 big markets and 2 very loyal baseball fan bases that are rivals.
Yeah.
So I get that part of it and the allure of a Connor Bedard, but this is a tough matchup this year.
It's what it is. What it is. Yeah, Wrigley's great, but outside of that, I'm not sure that teams are not.
I was at the last one at Wrigley.
Yeah.
2009.
Flyers?
No, it was Blackhawks Red Wings.
Yeah. They're fun outdoor games.
Yeah.
People like to piss on everything.
Don't be a hater.
Don't be a hater. Just if it's not your thing, then just move on.
Just change the channel.
Just move on. Well, happy New Year to you. So do you have a mummer suit? Or do you rent those things, or how does that work?
No, you got to order your costume months ahead of time. You can't just show up, and they change every year. Yeah. So you actually technically need to be a member, and I was an invited guest. And man, even after, so you do all that day drinking and then everyone goes home to take a nap and you reconvene and you start another parade again. But the cool part about the night parade is everyone in that neighborhood, it's just 2nd Street. It's all row houses. So you just pop into someone. Hey, somebody's got some big ziti over here. You go over here. You go in someone else's house. It's people you've never seen, never heard of. They're just inviting you in for food and drinks. Best day ever.
I love Philly. What a town.
So good.
What a town. Appreciate you, pal. Happy New Year.
You too. See you, buddy.
You betcha. There you go. He is Frank Seravalli, our NHL insider.
Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And, of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.